Good morning, guys. Sifu Scott Tarbell here at Wuxia Martial Arts. Very good to see everybody. So today what we're going to be doing is continuing on with our examination of how to use the Bong Sau wing arm, and really starting to bridge that not into just single point attacks or seeking the bridge, but actually what to do once we make contact with the bridge and how we can actually trap our opponent. Trapping is a huge component of Wing Tsun, and Bong Sau is a great entry for us to cross the bridge and then start to really like clinch up and throw some elbows and knees and other type of striking. So today we're going to take a look at it. All right, so let's get started. So last time that we met, we'll set up a good character too. Right? The last time that we met, we talked about the idea that if I went forward, right, maybe with a punch, right, or if I had popped or something like that, that if the Bong Sau is triggered because the guy gives me some heavy pressure, that I would let this thing go low, mid-level, right, has a nice angle and it's soft, and then I would turn a little bit and punch, and then the Bong Sau would come up right inside, and I could continue to punch again. All right, so we had worked on that stationary where we could go forward, we go one, punch, and then the Bong Sau comes up right away, and we said that was like the Quan Sau, right, in the Sun Tao, but we come up this way, that if I go bong, punch, that the Bong Sau comes up inside and punches right away, and then I could add some stepping and punching. All right, so we can try stationary first. We go 1, 2, 3, and then the punch comes up and I go here. All right, or I could step in. All right, it's your choice. If you want to try stationary, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. All right, you can go 1, 2, 3, and then step in. Like that. And then we also talked about how we can use in conjunction with the Pak Sau, right? So if we were here and I popped and punched, and maybe the guy like gave me some heavy pressure, but he freaks out, just like in our student grade 3, when I punch the guy, slaps my arm to the side, and instead of letting my arm go here, where everything is exposed, right, we relieve all the pressure here at the elbow. So when I go forward, the elbow just collapses, but has springy forward pressure, right? And we said that we could punch, and then we could punch again. All right, so going forward with it, pop and punch, bong, right, and then I punch afterwards. So this was where we had started at. So pop and punch, boom, boom, pop, pop. And the goal was for you guys to be able to go through all the points, dim dim chain, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But that eventually these points would start to connect together, so you have you're shaving some of the time off of this, right? So when I go this way, see, it should be pak, punch, right? So pak, the Bong Sau is there just momentarily to relieve the pressure, right? Pak, like that. You see that here, and then I go in, all right? And then lastly, we had talked about 2 other things in terms of bridging the gap using the Bong Sau. We had mentioned that we could go stationary, right? That maybe I go from here, and I punched either straight or that I popped and punched. So either way is fine. Right? It's just the idea is that you're going forward, yeah? So when I go forward here, right, and I punch, and then I got some pressure, we said that we could go off on the side, right? And now, from here, right, I can use the Biu Sau, which we have in the 4th set of the Sun Tao, right? When we go boom, 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 we go here, Tok Sau, and then we go Biu Sau this way, right? Then we could use the Biu Sau if we can strike, always great. But if you can't, something gets in the way, is that you can bridge, right? That you can use that as a bridge as well. So if I had gone forward, we'll go stationary first. So if I had popped and punched, or if I had just punched, doesn't matter. Then I go Bong Sau to the side, and we said this is just like your Chum Kyu, right? For those of you who have Chum Kyu, and if you don't, and you just have the Sun Tao, if you simply use the Junman, and then you put your Wu Sau up, right? These 3 points, shoulder, wrist, and wrist, all end up connected like that, right? Mid-level. So I can punch forward, I can go Bong Wu, and shift into my turning stance. So I'll back up just for a second, right? So I can punch forward, go Bong Sau, and then I shift. And all the weight is on the back leg here, so I don't have to adjust my body. I can just lift, right? Now, the other thing we said that you could do is you could go forward and then still slide back to character 2 and turn, right? And for some of the higher level students, this will make more sense, right? That you are going forward, then you are going back and using the Bong Sau, because sometimes you get heavy pressure and, you know, you can't stay. So even if I had gone forward like that, but the guy is like so heavy, and I made a good Bong Sau, but it's like so heavy, I may have to step back and let that pressure go by. But now we talk about the Biu Sau to the bridge. So first it was stationary. So maybe I popped, or maybe I just punched. It's your choice, right? So I punch, I go Bong Sau, I shift to the side to let his pressure go by, and now I keep this low. You see that? It doesn't come up like this where there's a lot of space and I can be hit, right? So from here, this stays low because remember the Biu Sau is trying to strike into the throat, right? Rarely are we trying to go to the eyes. If we're going to the eyes, we're using more of the thumb this way, all right, when we're clinching. So typically the Biu Sau is going to be striking into the throat, a soft target, yeah? So from here, I punch forward or I head popped forward. I go Bong, I shift. Now I go Biu Sau, and this hand does the Quan Sau. See, just like the other technique, comes on top, and then I punch like this, all right? So again, right, maybe I pop and punch, Bong Sau, I shift to alleviate pressure. The Biu Sau, right, can come in, and if I can strike, I'll strike. And then as that's happening, the other hand is sneaking up behind using the Quan Sau movement, and then I punch. So again, I punch forward, Bong, shift, Biu Sau, I come up inside, and then I punch. Right? So here, pock and punch, Bong, shift, Biu Sau, punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could just punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see every time, right, when I go here, I shift, 3 points are covered, 1, 2, 3. And now, as the Biu Sau goes forward, the Bong Sau comes up inside, and then it travels right up and punches this way. Okay, so this is review from last week. We had taken a look at these two options, how we can use the Bong Sau, the wing arm, in order to bridge. And this week, we're going to take a look at some more options here of how we can use this, not only to bridge, but to trap. So the first way and the easiest way is that we take a look, all right, in student grade 3, right, we have this idea, this concept that if I can go forward with the progression drill, the speed drill, right, that's your first real introduction into trapping, right? So from here, if I step in and I go Pak Sau, right, then from here, I'm not going to step back, right? I go Bong Sau, and this time, instead of going on top like we did previously with the Biu Sau, this is going to come up inside, like that. Now, this is quite a fascinating technique because a lot of people, they just focus on coming in and then like trying to trap and do something, you know, like, oh, the Biu Sau touched and then I'm gonna like give this guy the back fist, and there's nothing wrong with that. But remember, Wing Chun is like it's a sneaky art, it's an assassin art, right? I always say Wing Chun is like a cobra in a basket, right? Like your enemy or your opponent comes up and like tries to grab this basket and steal it and like shakes it and rattles it up. And inside the cobra is just like waiting for the guy to lift the lid off. And Wing Chun's kind of like that, right? Like we don't want any trouble, like we're trying to avoid trouble at all costs because we are a self-defense system. But I mean, the minute the guy like throws a punch or crosses the line and tries to like physically hurt me, he has lifted the lid off that basket. And Wing Chun shows this right here. So if I went pocket and punch and he like, you know, slaps my arm to the side, I'm not just trying to grab his arm, I'm trying to go this way, right? And you can see that the Biu Sau comes up inside like this, and my Bong Sau comes up slightly, right? And this goes here. So from the side, I go Pak and punch, Bong Sau, and now you can see here that this Biu Sau, this one's underneath and it goes like that. And this is always trying to strike into the throat. Right? It's never trying to strike into the eye. I mean, if you can get the eye, like if the guy bends into it, whatever. You know, but our goal is always to try to strike into the throat, into the soft tissue, right? I don't care how big you are, how many push-ups you can do, how much you can bench press. Somebody hits you here, right? Yeah, you're going to stop what you're thinking about. You're not going to be attacking forward. That's a very dangerous strike, right? So one not to be used lightly as well, right? Self-defense, of course. Yeah. So from here, Pak and punch. I get the heavy pressure, and without turning, I let the Bong Sau take over, and then the Wu Sau turns into the Biu Sau, and it comes up underneath like this, okay? And the Bong Sau is very, very soft. So again, Pak and punch, Bong, and Biu, like that. And when I do this, it has a little bit of power to it, but it's soft power, you know? It's like for the Chum Q, when we do the Chun Sau, right? I'm not like this way. It's soft. It has a little bit of loose fa jing, a little bit of explosive energy, right? So soft power as opposed to hard power, right? All right, so one more time. So I pop and punch. I go bong and biu, and that thing shoots out from underneath, right? Here we go. Pop and punch, bong and biu. And from the side, pop and punch, bong, biu. Now, we're showing this, right? Single point attack, then I'm going bong, then I'm going biu. And it's good to train that way in the beginning. So you go 1, 2, 3, right? But the goal, of course, we're always shaving time off of what we do. So I go boom, and this comes up right away. As soon as you get the pressure, that thing comes up, all right, right away. Now, that's the first part. So let's go back and we review the original material that we looked at. So if I had gone forward, right, and maybe I had to step off to the side, remember the Biu Sau was going on top this way to bridge or to strike, right? So you have this version of it going on top. And now today we look at this and we have this version of it coming underneath and being a little bit sneakier, all right? And this one gets us into the trapping range, right? So when I'm here and I hock and punch, right? Their punch is going to be laying over my Bong Sau. So they had just knocked this to the side. So when I go here, right, now we have a couple of things. I've bridged the gap because maybe their hand is up, right? And I tried to come in, but their hand is up blocking this thing, right? So we always avoid the heavily guarded area and we attack the unguarded area. That means I'm never trying to like, you know, just keep going. If this guy's covering up, I'm not going to just keep pounding on him. I'm going to find a new way. Wing Chun is like water, you know what I mean? So it looks for the crack in the dam and then it just plows through, right? So it's never just like tapping away at the same spot for 1,000 years. Doesn't make sense. You have to find how you can go through, what's the best way to get to the target. All right, so now, all right, we go pock and punch, all right? And I go bong and biu, but now this guy blocks, so I'm gonna grab like that, and I give him this big back fist, right? And when we do the back fist, there's a lot of misconception. A lot of people wanna do like the Hollywood back fist, right? They go boom, like that, and they wanna show this big thing. But actually in our student grade, we go here, and the elbow drops this way, and the shoulder drops, and I go this way, right? So it never really goes outside of my shoulder, right? I'm never doing this thing outside of my shoulder. It's always here, right? So when you're thinking about it, you're trying to smack, all right, from the side of the head, all right, basically down to his shoulder, this way, like that. And the reason we only stay there is because I can come back afterwards, right? I always want to, for Wing Chun, stay within like this box, this frame, right? Everything that we do is always kind of staying slightly outside of that frame, everything that we do, right? So I'm never really like going way out or anything like that, because that's not Wing Chun. Wing Chun is meant to be close quarter, which means you have to stay in this close quarter. So when I go here, pock and punch, right? Just like this, and now I go bong and biu, right here I go, you see that? I pull, right? And then I back fist at the same time, this way, boom, like that. And this is coming in nice and loose, so it's not too stiff, it's loose, and then it hits, right, on the side. Now this is nice if he gets his guard up, you can smack this into his guard, right, making another contact point to be able to grab or something. But if he doesn't, right, then you're just hitting him with this thing. And now we start to bridge. All right, so from here, I'm gonna start to step in with this. So I step in with pock and punch, I go bong and biu. Now from here, I'm gonna lop and back fist here. Lop and back fist, okay? So let's just try this a few times and we're gonna build some options into what you can do, yeah? Connecting some little higher level techniques and some basic techniques. So we go here, stepping in, pock and punch, bong and biu, lop and back fist. All right, a few more times, ready? Pock and punch, bong and biu. You see that's simultaneous now, right? Lop and back fist, which is also simultaneous. So you can see there's a theme going on, right? Everything we do is really like using Wing Chun timing and speed, as opposed to like 1, 2, you know, 1, 2. Everything is simultaneous, which makes us faster as Wing Chun people. Even if you're not fast, the timing of Wing Chun makes you faster than your opponent because they always have to catch up. You're one move ahead, all right? So we go, they punch, we go pocket punch, right? We go bong and biu, up and back fist, just like that. All right, and again. Pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. All right, from the side, stepping in, pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. Pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. Okay, and from this side, ready? Here, pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. And back again, all right? Pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. And you see every time I slide back to character 2, right? So when I'm doing this, you can see the footwork. I step in, I stay, boom, and then I go back to character 2. So when I'm forward, I go back to character 2. Knees squeeze, good adduction. All right. So this is the first kind of drill where we start to bridge underneath using the bong and biu, right? So now from here, I step in, pocket punch, bong and biu, right? But now when I go up and back fist, all right, from here, I'm gonna reach over. So I go boom, and I reach over and grab the head, and then I come in here. So I'm gonna pull, we have this neck pulling hand, right, which for you, we have this in the wooden dummy form, but for the newer people, right, this is just a Wuxia. So when I reach out with the Chun Sau, I just pull in to this position. So I go 1, and then I pull out from here. You see, so about 1 fist away, right, from here, I go forward, I hook, and then I bring in, just like that. All right, and then this elbow, right, the ding jarn, we call ding jarn, means like a butting elbow or a hacking elbow, right? You'll see this, and then later on it evolves in the Biu Ji form into a very sharp and specific type of elbow, but the motion is quite similar, but a little bit more loose. So from here I go pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. And now you see this goes over, right? So from there I go over, grab, I position this in the Bong Sau position like that, and then I just turn my body. See, I bring this in, and I turn like that. Now, we'll do this again, yeah? Pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. I reach over and grab, and now bring it up and pull together. And I crunch my stomach and turn and bring these together. Now, for a more in-depth explanation of how to like use some of the elbows and clinching, y'all can go back into your email because I've sent a whole series on clinch using the elbows and knees and lifting, punching, and all different types of elbows. It was a 3-part series, so to go a little bit deeper with that, you can go back and take a look through your email. Hopefully you have a folder on your email that you're saving these links because they're only for you guys that are paying tuition. Having some private like library of techniques, the public doesn't have a lot of this. It's only for you guys that are paying students, okay? It's unlisted. So we go pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist, I reach, and I go in. And I pull and I hit at the same time. And we use this collision theory, right? Me pulling him and my elbow going forward makes this collision, yeah? All right, a couple more times. So pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. I reach and grab, and I pull in like this, okay? Here we go. Pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist, reach, and then pull like that, and elbow. You just keep this soft, right? So a lot of people want to like turn it in, right? But you just keep it relaxed, right? If it turns a little bit, it's okay, but it shouldn't be like you're really forcing anything. Yeah, just keep it loose and relaxed, right? The shoulder should be nice and loose. So when you hit, the shoulder is soft, right? And you're using this sharp part of your elbow, right? That bony part, right? To slice this guy up, yeah? All right, so again, pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. I reach and grab, and I can take a little advancing step forward, just like that, as I pull and I elbow at the same time. All right, so that is the first one. Let's take a look here, just from the side. Pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. I reach over, and then I come in and have it right. All right, again, pocket punch, bong and biu, up and back fist. I reach and grab, and I go here. Now you notice that when I do this, I'm not like winding way up when I do this either. This is close quarter, right? So remember the difference between range 2 and 3, right? Range 2 being my punching range, range 3 being, clinch with elbows and knees and everything like that. The big difference is just the spacing decreases, right? So if I'm punching and all of a sudden, like, I start to get jammed up, well, then it's elbow time. You know what I mean? If I have the room to punch, I'll punch. If I have the room to kick, I kick, right? So Wing Chun never really looks at, you know, like having some set techniques. It's always, I want to go forward, right? And as I'm going forward, sometimes the space decreases, and sometimes the space expands, right? And you always have to go in between those things. If you're doing Wing Chun, right, the space should always be decreasing and contracting because you're going forward very heavy and like closing the gap. And, you know, Sifu Jeff always says, he says, Wing Chun fighting is boring, right? Because it's always the same thing. The guy comes in, I start with a kick, I do some punches, eventually I clinch, I do something, I take him to the ground in range 4, and then I end up like kicking him in the face or kicking him in the ribs or whatever, and getting the hell out of there. And it's like, because we go through all 5 ranges, it's always the same with Wing Chun. That's our goal, is to go forward and through those 5 ranges, right? I never want to go like, I'm in range 1 and then all of a sudden I'm back into, range 2 and then I'm back into like range 1 or something. It happens when you're fighting, but our goal as Wing Chun people is always to go forward through those 5 ranges as quickly as possible. All right, so let's look one more time. So we go here, I have a pop and punch, bong and biu, lock and back fist, I grab, and now look, the elbow comes up. It doesn't wind up, it comes up, and I go here. One more time. Pop and punch, bong and biu, lock and back fist, grab, and I go here. Okay? So that is one thing that you can take a look at in terms of how to use the bong, but also how to use the Biu Sau in a very sneaky and effective way. I would say be careful when you're training with your partners. Usually if I'm doing this with my students, what I like to do is instead of the Biu Sau to the throat, because sometimes when you go forward, people freak out or, you know, like they come in too heavy, and when you neutralize their pressure, sometimes they fall into this thing. So you got to be careful, right, that you're not tagging people. I've seen a couple of people like take it in the face. One person took it in the eye. So you really have to be careful when you're doing this. But what I like to do is palm to the forehead. And you'll see this later in the 3rd section anyway, that we do something like this and we come in, right? So for all you 3rd section people, right, who have that European 3rd section, you know, we go boom, like that, and we end up hitting them in the forehead. So you can train it that way. I go pock and punch, bong, and I can go smack like that and just hit. But the intention is always, yeah, for real self-defense, I'm trying to go forward. Because smacking somebody in the forehead, yeah, I mean, if you hit them in the nose or something, it might be effective, but, you know, smacking in the forehead is, you know, it's something you do to your drunk uncle when he's trying to like embarrass you at the party, right? So, so let's take a look at one more here. Right? So I pock and punch, right? And now from here, I'm gonna get some heavy pressure, right? That knocks me back. So I pocket and punch, and now I'm like, whoa. And I try to go forward with this a little bit, but I have trouble to, right? So if he's coming heavy, he's gonna be pretty close, right? So I can still walk on back fist, but now he blocks, see? He blocks this one. So when I go here and go up and back fist, he gets his hand up in time. Now we're starting to talk more like specific, like maybe this guy's a good martial artist, or maybe he's a Wing Chun person, or she's a Wing Chun person, right? So when I go forward and I go pock and punch, I get heavy pressure and it moves me back, and I go forward with the biu and I do this lock and back fist, but now he blocks, right? So I'm not really able to try and get this thing over his head. So what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna lop again, but instead of giving him the straight punch, I could go straight punch if I want, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him the hook punch, right? So in our beauty form, right, much later on, you guys end up getting this where we go with the Shun Kamna Sau and we go with the hook punch and the grab. And there's a lot of details in that come later on. So this is just a small preview, but Wing Chun does have a hooking punch, right? We have the lifting punch, we have a variety of punches, the back fist, and all the open hand strikes and everything. So the hooking punch is a fantastic technique, give you a lot of power, right? So just for fun, we can kind of use this as well for some of the advanced people. So I go forward, pock and punch, I get heavy pressure, which knocks me back. And the footwork is exactly the same as before. So I go forward, pock and punch, and now as I go here, I get heavy pressure that knocks me back, right? So that's the key, is you work forward, and all of a sudden you got knocked back. And you see I go off the center. This way, right? So from here, pock and punch, right? I get knocked back, bong, I go forward with the biu, and now lop and back fist. But this time, I go lop and hook punch. You see that? I lop, right here, pulling, and then I hook punch. And the nice thing about this is, you know, this guy is all crossed up now. When I pull his arm across, the whole side is open. So when I hook punch, he's in a lot of trouble. Yeah. So here, hock and punch, bong. I step back and do the Biu, and then I lop and back fist. Now from here, I lop and hook punch. And you can see when I'm doing this, there's a little bit of a shift, right? So I go hock and punch, I go bong and Biu, lop and back fist. And now when I lop the other way, I'm gonna shift and I hit this way, okay? So again, hock and punch, bong, right? I get knocked back, it's pretty heavy pressure. I go Biu, lop back fist, and now I go lop and hook and punch. Again, one more time. So hock and punch, bong and Biu, right? Lop and back fist, lop and hook and punch, okay? And then just for fun, I have 2 minutes before the class starts. So just for fun, right? You can also add in our previous technique, right? So I go hock and punch, I step back, bong and Biu, lop and back fist, and I go hook and punch. Now from here, I can reach over and I can give him this elbow, see? So I hook, right? And then I come this way. And the nice thing about that is when I hook, sometimes you got the guy and you hook punch and he might try to like go under it, right? So when I go hock and punch, bong, so then bong and Biu, lop and back fist. If I lop his hand, right, and then I hook punch, but he tries to go under, then I grab him when he comes up, and I go here. Or he just takes the hook punch, right, and then I grab him, and I go here. So either way, it's nice, right? If he's trying to bob and weave, right, he's trying to like do something like this, when his head comes up, I just snatch him up, all right? And then he's waiting for this. So one more time, I go hock and punch, bong, I step back, heavy pressure, Biu, lop and back fist, right? And now lop and hook punch, grab, and I go here, just like that. And you can try that stationary. Also, all of this you can just do stationary. Boom, boom, boom. There's a little bit of shifting here, like that. You can try it stepping in, right, without the heavy pressure. Boom, boom. See, I can go, this one would be across my body, so if my foot's forward, you gotta turn into the claw, let's fold inside, so when I lop, it might feel a little uncomfortable, but you have to get used to that. You never know where you're gonna be. Right. So I could go forward with a heavy pressure, boom, boom, and get knocked back, and I go over here, right, boom, boom, boom. Right, so all different ways you can try it. Stationary, stepping forward, stepping back with the heavy pressure. And yeah, so hopefully between this video and the last video, this has given you some idea and some options about how you can use the Bong Sau, not only to bridge, but like to really kind of let this guy's energy go, right? So that you can set up the Biu Sau in a variety of different ways. And then we introduced the hook punch a little bit today, and then some concepts, of course, right, from the Chung Q in terms of the elbow. So I hope that you see over the course of these videos that we're starting to make some connections. We had our clinch series, which was pretty basic. We talked about how to do a lot of these different things. And then, you know, we're starting to make some connections. So if you go back and look at some of those videos, some of them are quite basic, but now we're starting to bridge and make connections a little bit. And I hope that you train diligently. And if you ever have any questions about this material, you can feel free, those of you that are still not able to attend, feel free to shoot me an email or, you know, shoot me a text or whatever. We can definitely talk about it. If you want to do a private lesson with me because you don't want to do the group thing, yeah, we can mask up and do that as well. But yeah, group class is always best for you guys if you're able to make it. So you can touch hands with maybe like 1 or 2 people and get their feeling as well, because the feeling of the Sifu might be like very clean. And sometimes you need somebody that's a little unorthodox and gritty so that you get a different feel, all right? But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free. And for those of you that are attending classes, if you have any questions about this material, you can ask me, we can always go over it in class as well, okay? So I hope you had a good time. I hope you train hard. And remember, when you're watching this video, you don't have to play it all the way through. Once you watch it once, you could go through different pieces. Once you find where the time links are, because I don't know how to add those in. But once the time links are there, you could go in and you could just like work on this particular part. And then maybe another time you come back to the video, you work on a different part of the video. So that's how you're going to get good. Dim dim chain, all points clear, and continue to make these connections. Okay, the Da Ti Shuai Na, punching, kicking, right, takedowns, and then all the chin and everything connecting together in Wing Chun. All right, guys. Well, that is it. So we go from here. All right, Sifu Scott Tarbell, Wuxia martial arts. I wish you a good week, and I hope you train hard. All right, guys. So be cool.